Hello, this is Duncan Nisbet, the roving reporter for Let's Test. Here today with Martin and Anna. How you doing, guys?
Good, thank you.
I'm very well, thank you very much.
Fantastic, we're here at last. So I'm going to start off with you, Anna. Would you like to tell us how you and Martin came to be working together and doing this presentation at Let's Test?
So we have this topic that both of us are very passionate and excited about, and I believe in Let's Test in Australia we start talking about it, and Martin has some great experience with implementing the idea, and I developed some training that I wanted to introduce the idea to Australia testers with the topic of our new workshop. And that's how it came about that we started talking about it, and both of us have been so excited about the topic that we thought that we really need to teach more people about that. So that's how it kind of came about. And then Test Bash came about, and between me and Martin we started talking about the training, and we decided let's do it. And that's how it became a reality.
Fantastic.
In 2 days it will become a reality.
So you're delivering at a Test Bash this week?
We're gonna try to do it at Test Bash this week, the first attempt. Right. So when we bring it to Africa, South Africa, it will be polished and had experience with it.
They're the exact words that Martin used. Have you been collaborating? Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And so, do you want to just give us an overview of your presentation without giving away any spoilers? Can you do that?
I will let Martin do it because I already did my talk.
Cool. So before we lose you, is there anything else you want to add?
Oh no, I'm not leaving yet. I have another 10 minutes, so I would love to participate as much as I can.
Let's keep going then. Okay, Martin. So Anna's handed over to you.
I see. This is how we're going to play this now. I didn't know that. So specifically, the question you're asking me is, what is the workshop about?
Yes. Yeah. And where did the title come from? So, I mean, who are the sharks, for example?
Yeah, well, Swimming with Sharks, I mean, it's a bit of a playful title, but I think it's just come from a lot of experiences that I've observed when asking people to describe their relationships with the people that they work with. It's amazing how it's almost always identified as you know, the person that I'm speaking to is in a ocean full of dangerous creatures and sharks, and people, you know, it's the powers that be, it's the executives, it's the people who, you know, the product management team, and the way they describe some of the people they interact with, it sounds like a very dangerous place. And then if I dig a little bit more and I say, oh, well, that person, what's the name of that person? And they tell me a little bit more about that person, and then I start to say, okay, and what are they like? Are they married? And then they start describing their personal life, and I hear a very different tone come out of how they're describing that very same person now as very human and very caring and very loving. And I'm like, and I look at it, I say, okay, well, you know, you start to recognize that these are the same person. You know, the people you're describing are the same person here, and you need to be able to choose the model with which that you view the people you interact with. You can actually decide how you wish to describe that model and how you wish to be part of that ocean that you're swimming with these creatures. And looking at sharks as an example, people view them as these very dangerous creatures, and at the same time you look at the number of shark attacks, though it's gone up recently, is actually quite low when compared to things like car fatalities and the everyday dangers that we experience in real life. So yeah, that's where the title came from.
Well, that's what happens, isn't it? When you jump into somebody else's zoo, then you're likely to get bitten, aren't you? I've got a love affair with sharks, and they get so misrepresented. So it's really interesting seeing the kind of the relationship between the models you're using.
Yeah, and I really do think that people have a lot more control over the interactions that they have in the workplace than they think. And it's about recognizing what parts of it do you have control over, and what parts of it can you help change and model, change and modify to help facilitate better communication, and that's where a lot of the title plays in with what we're going to try to do in the workshop.
Gotcha. So I've got a model in mind, and it's the spheres of influence. Is it similar? Is it along those lines where I can control this much and I can't control this, and the idea is you push your sphere of influence out?
There will be some of it, definitely.
Yeah.
But we're gonna review how you can change your models, how you can build your communication about some. We're gonna give you some frameworks of how you can change the way you communicate with people in a way that it's more valuable to you and it's more valuable to somebody else. Because there is so much of misunderstanding happening in the workplace, and sometimes, oftentimes, it really affects how effective your work is.
Yeah,
Especially for testers, because communication is really one of their skills, and it's really one of the necessity of their job.
Yeah, that's it. Communication is so important, isn't it? It's people forget about it, but like the first line of the Agile Manifesto, people and processes over tools.
Yep.
Fantastic. Okay, so there's going to be several models swimming around, is there, in this ocean?
Yeah.
Cool. I look forward to that. Yeah, I guess there'll be some wonderful write-ups on it. There's a lot of noise out of South African testers at the moment, isn't there? I know. Yeah. So perhaps it's just the lines I'm following. So speaking to the other South African testers and the conferences they're attending, just the noises they're making sound fantastic. It reminds me somewhat of the Kiwi testers putting themselves up on the map.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, I'm actually really looking forward because it's going to be every single time I've actually gone from one conference to the next, I've been shocked by it's not the questions that are being asked, it's the opening position where the questions are being asked from. And it very much differentiates between help me solve this problem to I understand I have to solve my own problem. Can you point me some tools as to how I can do this? Versus I clearly can't be helped, but how would you handle it? There tends to be a cultural difference that is common with people coming from different work environments as to where they feel their starting point is. But
Okay.
what I see is consistent is once they do see opportunity, everybody feels that, oh, well, now I realize that I can be a part of making the change, so why don't I start now? And so I'm very curious to see how this differs when I go to South Africa, because I've had a very, very limited group of people that I've been able to interact with, and they've all seemed to be extremely passionate about the teams they work with and the people they interact with. So I'm curious to see how that is at a bigger scale.
Have either of you been to South Africa before?
Not me.
No.
No, me too. First time.
Fantastic! What an opportunity.
Yeah, Let's Test lets me travel the world. I've been to Sweden and Australia and now South Africa because of Let's Test. Yeah.
That's a good accolade, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm still trying to look for a good testing conference in the South Pole, but I haven't come across any yet.
Let's start one.
Yeah, that's it. There'll be kind of lots of ice cores, I should imagine.
Yeah.
We'll do some exploratory testing around the South Pole.
Yeah. Brilliant. So just going back to your point there, Martin, do you think there's more openness? Are you seeing more openness in the kind of delegates, the presenters, just willing to kind of put themselves out there, wear their heart on their sleeve?
I'm going to be very open-minded about it, that I've met such a small selection of people from South Africa that I don't know if I can say that represents what I can be expecting there. But
sorry, no, I mean across the board.
Oh, sorry. So can you rephrase the question for me then?
Yeah. So your previous comment about people changing their starting position, about rather than saying point me to a tool that can help me.
Oh, I see.
Do you think there's more openness? People saying, look, I've got this limitation, I've got this problem. Where do we go?
I think for me it's more the idea that I'm surprised at where the starting position is. I think as far as I'm concerned, someone showing up at the conference by their own choice is already a willingness to want to change something and want to do something, because that's the reason why they're there. They're saying, you know what, there's other people in the world trying all kinds of different things. Information is power, and the more that we can share experiences and present information, how can I turn that into something where I can get some ideas as to how I can start making a difference in where I work and with the people I care about and what's important to me.
Yeah, fantastic. It does feel like there's more openness.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you that from a personal experience, how I interacted with my coworkers started changing dramatically after I started attending. I think when I first started going to Sweden, for example, and Let's Test, and I went to Oradev. And then from there I went to CAST. I got to get to my first test batch. With each experience, at the Agile conference that I went to in the States, the Agile 2013, I guess, was the first one. With each experience that I went to one of these conferences, I came back with a slightly different perception of what's possible, and more importantly, where have I been not contributing, and where can I start to contribute?
Oh, brilliant! That's cool. So like a self-awareness almost.
I think so.
Yeah. Anna, do you have any kind of similar comments on that?
Yeah, I'm a little bit, having a different perspective because I'm the organizers of conferences now.
Yeah.
But I would definitely, I echo Martin. Yeah, I'm still in this world of reaching out to people and helping them to learn. And I think that what the speakers are doing is a really noble thing, because if we have our experience and successful one, we need to share.
Yeah.
And there are people out there who are hungry for the knowledge that we have.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, because the learning models have moved from the kind of knowledge is power, enclosed knowledge, to like the shared knowledge now, isn't it? The kind of learning model is let's share what we have and learn from each other. That's a big opposite.
And when you come into the conference, you can exchange your context with other people. You will see sometimes your context is very similar to other people, even though you think it's unique to you. And that's one, yes, it's true. Because I've been speaking at conferences a lot, so I'm seeing the patterns. People have a problem, they think it's their own, but it's not. There is ways to solve the issues, and there are some universal ways. And some of us who are already digging deep into like how to solve certain problems, we have some solutions we can offer to people so they can apply it to their own context.
That's good. And again, that will tie back into your session.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I have to disconnect right now. I'm leaving it to Martin because we're partners.
Okay. It's all about trust, right, Anna?
Absolutely. We need to show what we teach. So, yes. Thank you so much, Duncan and Martin, and see you soon.
I'll see you soon.
Yes, bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Right.
Okay, now let me tell you about the real Anna Royzman.
You won't believe it. Oh, fantastic. So I just catch and float.
Actually, just to follow up on what Anna was just saying, one of the things that's we'll be touching a lot in our workshop actually about interactional expertise, and we've done a lot of this has actually been based on a lot of the work of Harry Collins, for example. And I think one of the big tie-ins here also with just being at these conferences and at these workshops is that when it comes to tacit knowledge, tacit versus explicit knowledge, one of the things that I've been really sort of getting a sense of is that most of the learning that comes and the sharing of information around tacit knowledge actually comes through social interaction. It's not one of these ones that can become through processes and through teachings. It's through social interaction that you gain a lot of this tacit knowledge. And I think that's where the value of attending a conference like this one that's going to be happening in South Africa, you may not get the full picture while at the conference, but you'll start to get a sense and a taste for what's possible that you can only really get through social interaction. And it's great to download videos and to attend one-day courses and that, but through actually interacting in a freer environment with a lot of your peers, and then not knowing where this conversation is going to go, that's where you're probably going to start to pick up some of this information that is very unique at these types of events. And I can tell you that Let's Test itself is very special to me. It's the place where I kind of started my transformation professionally. It's where I started to really try to expand, and it's part of the reason why I've started extending to other groups outside of software testing, even because of what I gained going to a Let's Test. So I think that there's a lot that people can get out of getting to Johannesburg during this conference that they're not even realizing as an opportunity. It's not just about the workshops. It's about all those conversations that you're going to be able to have with the different people showing up from all over the world.
Yeah, I know that's something tricky for my wife to get her head around. When I say, I can't speak to you right now, she goes, but the session's finished at 6. It's now like 6:30, 8. I say, well, I'm still like doing it. I'm still talking. I'm still conferring. It's just, and that goes on like all the time, doesn't it? I know in the first test, there's many jokes around like, yeah, I saw the sunrise in Let's Test or something. I saw the sunset as well of the same evening, and that the conferring just goes on and on and on, and it's your access to the speakers as well. For example, so I might not put my hand up at the back of a keynote and say, yeah, I've got a question, but the presenters, the keynote speakers, are so accessible and so kind of open. You can go to them and have a beer with them and say, right, I just want to have a chat with you, like about that particular point in your keynote. Oh yeah, and because you're talking about something that is close to their heart, they're willing to talk to you about it, and then you end up having such a deeper understanding of what the message they were trying to convey.
Right.
Go on.
I would say I would even extend it further than that. Is that a couple of things. One is that a lot of the personal learnings I got out of different workshops that I attended actually came while trying to describe that workshop or that talk to somebody else after who attended a different one, and then we started actually applying our own take on the and coming up with our own thoughts about it just in that interaction, and then potentially going and finding one of those two presenters to kind of bring up that conversation with them. And that it's the processing that happens throughout the conference as well that really generates a lot of rich, interesting new ideas. And the reality is that a lot of the people that you're speaking to there who are not presenters may or may not be future presenters, and you may be a part of actually that think pool of people who are coming out with the greatest, newest ideas that are coming next, and the people who are going to be sharing great new ideas next, because a lot comes out during those couple of days at that conference. Yeah,
agreed. And that leads on to the Speakeasy program, doesn't it? Which is fantastic.
The program's great.
Yeah. So I've got a mentee who I kind of am actively sort of recommending that she goes to the Speakeasy program, and she's got herself a mentor now, because her ideas are fantastic, but she needs the kind of the model to and the encouragement to frame it and where to put it. She's like, no one wants to listen to what I have to say. I was like, well, I beg to differ. So it's just kind of give that wrapper that yes, you can go. So I tried to get to go to Let's Test, but I think other commitments got in the way. But just the fact the community, that model is there, that's been put out there by the community, recognizing there's that there are those people that have these fantastic ideas, but maybe don't have the confidence or the structure around what they want to say to get it out there.
Yeah.
Again, that's all stemmed from this community, hasn't it? From like the Let's Test, the casts.
Yeah, and actually, in a lot of the conferences that are outside of the world of software testing, but have clearly embraced similar ideas in terms of getting the right information to the right people so they can make good decisions about building software and stop pulling back on that is or that is not my job, and really kind of lean forward towards, I'm part of a team and we're trying to build something that is great. And I have a role to play in building something that is great, and I want to be a part of that. Now, what information do I need so that I can do my job well, and how can I help other people know that they can do their job well? And in most ways, that's sort of how I feel. That's sort of the role I feel that a tester is. Somebody once accused me of of trying to redefine a software tester as a project manager. And I said, well, to me, a really good project manager is somebody who ensures that everybody on the team has timely information so that they know what they can do to best contribute to the project and the success of the team. I would say the only way I extend that towards a software tester is they also have the tools by which they can go out and seek that information to be able to deliver it. Not just being the information broker, but also being someone who can explore and actually access and gain that information to share it. So, if someone says that that's a redefinition that I'm applying, so be it. I'm never going to tell anyone this is what they should or shouldn't do in the workplace. It's find the things that make you most happy. Find the things that you find you're most successful doing, and then take part in that way. If you figure out that in fact that's being a software tester, that's perfect. If you figure out that it's being something else, that's also perfect.
Yeah. That's it. For me, being a software tester is being heart of it, isn't it? You are you're entangled in all kind of aspects of the product of the project.
Right. Right. Yeah, and where this sort of ties back to the workshop that Anna and I are doing is, I've often heard conversations kind of like, well, we're the ones who need to care about the quality. And I try to remind people, every single person who's with you on that project, they really care about the quality, but they're bringing different tools and different aspects to the conversation. Yeah. But everybody feels like they're the one who cares about the quality.
That's it. No. Developer Dave just comes in and just writes really shitty code. He doesn't care.
But there are disengaged people in companies. But it's not based on the role. It's based on how they're measured, how they're rewarded, the interaction that they have with the rest of the team. It's not a role-based empathy system. It is absolutely a sense of what is the world that they know and what do they feel is the way that they're measured about them doing a good job. Yeah. And the more you get in touch with that, the more you start to realize who are the actors in play and how they interact with each other and what are the values that have been built around the work that they've been asked to do. The more you recognize that this is effectively, this is where the tie-in is to the workshop around trading zones.
Yeah.
You start to realize that you can choose the model. You can choose to model these environments as you wish, and then try to come up with what are the ways that would best suit the group so that we can actually succeed together.
Right. Okay. That's a nice segue. So go and just elaborate more on the kind of trading zones in the software testing world. How do you kind of link those two together?
So when it comes down to it, I wouldn't say even so much as the software testing world. I would say it's everybody involved in building software. Is that you fundamentally you are intentionally hiring people with diverse backgrounds and skill sets to accomplish a single task. You are bringing together people who are actually being measured on different things. People who are actually trying to seek different, depending on whether you're using a performance review approach, which I personally hate, or or how the team is being asked to perform certain tasks. You have people who are coming in from different departments. The reality is you're going to have people who are effectively representing different cultures. They are probably speaking different languages. They have different jargon that they use for different things. They model success in a different way, and yet you're asking them to coexist. And when you start looking into trading zones, it is a study of when cultures interact with one another, when communication is not perfect, that it's trading zones that form.
Yeah.
And that's where the overlap is. That if everybody speaks exactly the same way, communication is the same, the culture is a complete overlap, then all you get is just straight trade. Anything short of that, you could model those environments as trading zones, and then it helps you try to determine. And by doing so, it can help you look at it a little bit more objectively, and maybe disconnect your personal attachment to those relationships a little bit, so that you can start looking at it, as far as I'm concerned, more like a software tester. This is a system under test. This is a system that I'm observing under test. And I would like to learn as much as possible about the system and about how it works and what is working in what way, so that I can help people make better decisions about how to change the system to work in a better way.
Right. Okay.
it is, for example, how I feel is one way that a tester can choose to examine the system that is the team.
Right. Yeah, of course. Yeah, so the team is a system and the product is working on as another system, but those two systems are going to interact, right?
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
And then you start looking at things like retrospectives in a completely different way, and you start looking at sprints in a completely different way, because now you're choosing to look at, you're choosing to apply one model. There are other models. And in many ways, you're kind of almost one of the stars of this particular workshop, because your workshop on Cynefin helped demonstrate to me that there are ways to help teach a model like this one. And so, if I'm being safe, I would say that I borrowed a lot of your methods, but I could go so far as to say I stole them.
Fine, have them. They're there for public consumption. Thank you. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So, have you seen anything else on the program that's taking your fancy?
Yeah, I'm actually there's quite a few workshops that are really interesting to me. I don't know if anyone's had a chance to work with Ilary. So Ilary's got a very unique way of actually doing his workshops, and if anyone ever has the chance to sign up for his, hopefully it's not up exactly at the same time as mine, but his workshops cannot be missed. They are fantastic, and he has you completely rethink the way you're working in at your place of work and coming up with new ideas. So that's one that I definitely want to take advantage of.
Yeah.
And there's quite a few people who are actually I don't know and I've never seen present who are actually at this conference. Last few conferences I've been going out of my way to attend workshops of people that I've never seen present and don't know very much about. And this is one that I'm seeing as an opportunity for me to actually sort of discover people's ideas.
Yeah, I do the same at Let's Test. Like the facilitator's role. I just say give me whatever's left, because I'm just so open to new ideas. And
right.
So you don't end up battling for like all the other ones, because as you say, you'll chat to the guys afterwards and you'll chat to the presenters afterwards and just get the gist. And hopefully they're running it somewhere else so you can catch up on it later.
Right.
Yeah, I've met some really interesting people who I would never have even considered bumping into.
Right.
Had I done that.
And if there's one challenge that I can give to people who are actually attending Let's Test, and I can't. This is going to sound ridiculous. I can't. But I'll try to say it in the most political way possible, or the politically correct way possible I can think of. The workshops and the talks that most align with my current way of thinking are the ones that I've actually got the least out of. I've attended some talks where 80% of the way through I thought to myself, why am I in here? And then one little thing was said and one little aspect was brought up that completely spiked a new line of thinking in my head. And that caused me to torment for the rest of the conference because I was into something that was not in my comfort zone. And so I started that when I started going to these conferences. I tended to go to the ones that were most in line with my way of thinking, and I wanted to extend that further. Yeah. Lately, I've been trying to find people who present things to me that are not just compelling, but sometimes frustrating. It's like I don't even like this idea this person's presenting. Let's find out why they think it's important.
Yeah, contradictory to I try that. His ideas are completely contradictory to mine.
Correct.
Let's get together and work out why are we so far off the page.
Yeah. Because I mean, the reality is, and I mentioned this earlier, is that everybody comes into work. Everybody approaches every day. Every time everybody says something, they're doing it with the conviction that at that time they're doing the right thing, that their decision was based for the right reasons. Everybody believes what they bring to the discussion is of value. If you really want to be a good tester, your job is to find out why they think that, not whether it's right or wrong. Don't think about it as an evaluation where you can provide confirmation. Think of it as information and a starting point for a really good conversation where you can actually you can bring this conversation forward and see if you can actually turn a topical comment into a moment for learning for everybody.
Yeah. That's very true, isn't it? Just moving away from that evaluation.
Yeah.
And thinking critically about what people are saying and challenge what they're saying.
Yeah. And the organizer of Let's Test, Lou Parole, she does a lot of work with nonviolent communication, and I think that's a fundamental component of nonviolent communication. Is that idea of moving away from making statements that are evaluations to actually just providing those observations that allow people to contribute and evolve the conversation. English is a very, very easy language to apply blame.
It certainly is. So Lou is she is the epitome of nonviolent communication, isn't she?
Yeah, I learn a lot from her every time I speak.
Raise her voice. It's like, yeah. I was in her MVC session in Let's Test Stockholm last year.
Right.
No, wasn't it 2015? Yeah, early this year.
Yeah, this year. Yeah.
Yeah. Getting all confused.
And if you think about it, and that's the type of that workshop is exactly the type of thing I hope comes out in this conference, because what you had there is you had people, including one of the organizers of Let's Test Global, with coming in with really strong opinions about how nonviolent communication effectively doesn't make sense because culturally, from their language, it doesn't fit right. And yet that led to some of the best conversations in that workshop.
Yeah.
So that would be basically my plea to anybody who's coming to this conference. And people who are thinking about coming to this conference is, don't go because you think things align, or don't attend workshops that you think align with your way of thinking. Attend things that actually you feel don't make sense to you, or you've never heard about, or seem wrong to you. Find out. And because the person who's presenting it obviously believes in it, find out why, and that'll help you learn a little bit more about maybe why you disagree with it. Yeah. Or it may confirm that or not, but the whole point is that think about it as someone's laying out their thoughts on it, and it's providing you more to think about and either strengthening your opinions or creating more question, or better yet, even just leading to all new lines of thought about how this actually mixes with something else to create a different idea, a different approach, something new that maybe you can present at a future conference and get invited to go speak in some other places as well.
Yeah. That's a really good shout out, Martin.
Yeah.
I'll advocate it. Cool. Okay, so is there anything else you want to talk about before we roll off?
No, I think that's pretty much it for me at this point, because I think that I've said a lot. I think that I've had much more opportunity to speak during this interview than Anna did. So I feel bad that she only had the 15 minutes, and even during that 15 minutes, she asked me if I could talk a bit.
Yeah.
But I'm really looking forward to getting down to Johannesburg. This is my first time even being to the continent. The closest I ever came, through different parts of Europe, really, is the closest I've ever come. So there's still a body of water separating me. But I have some friends. I have some friends that are from Joburg, and they've told me wonderful things about it. And so far, everybody I've met from there I've really liked. So I can only imagine that I'm going to get more of the same when I get down there.
Cool. Yeah. And you're a renowned traveler. So are you doing any traveling while you're down there?
We're gonna pop over to Cape Town for a bit.
Yep.
Mostly because I could use a couple of days off. So a few of us will hop over to Cape Town. We'll stay in an Airbnb, nice. And then we'll be coming to the conference all relaxed and hopefully rested.
I'd recommend the garden.
Rested.
Yeah.
There's a long tradition of Let's Tests about not being rested.
That's it. I'd recommend the garden route. Where did we stop on the garden route? Neisner, and then I can't remember, Mimosa Lodge. But then we stopped in the middle of the Bontebok Park, which is just beautiful. So you're in effectively a static caravan, which sounds a bit tacky until you say, yeah, you're in the middle of a nature reserve, and it's just like there's nothing around. It's pitch black, and it's gorgeous. Yeah.
Okay, I'll definitely keep that in mind.
Yeah.
One of the things I'm going to have to figure out is what I'm doing on the day after the conference, because I still have all day in Johannesburg after the conference. So, so before we fly back, before I fly back to London. So that's one of those ones where I'm going to be looking for ideas from people while they're at the conference, if they can tell me where to Where to visit?
I think it'd be only right to squeeze in a shark dive while you're down there, right?
Well, it seems appropriate, right?
Doesn't it? Mussel Island, Mussel Bay, is where the sharks hang out. Go and have a quick dive there.
The question is, though, will that completely undermine my workshop if something bad happens?
The great
You the sharks are problems.
Yeah, you are big and ugly. All right, Martin. Well, thanks ever so much for your time, mate. I'm gonna leave you there.
All right.
And I'll catch up with you soon. I'm gonna see you in Stockholm in May.
You'll see me in Stockholm in May, and I'm going to be in Europe quite a bit, so I might be able to catch you before then as well. So I'll be in London in and out before and after Let's Test, actually, for example. So maybe I'll catch you before then.
Yeah, please do.
All right. Okay. But it was great chatting with you, and we'll talk soon.
Definitely. Cheers, Martin. Catch you in a bit.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.